I'm going to share with you how I made this beautiful dress. Hello and welcome back. Look at the finishing. Everything came out really nice. I thought I needed a rope, so I attached it. Look how my pocket fits perfectly. The sleeves. Look at my facing. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that, man. Tension them. Oh. Alright, you're going to need your drafting tools, your pencil, your tape, your pattern master. Of course, you need your pattern paper. Because this dress has a crouch effect, I'm going in by 4 inches to cater for that. So I'm marking 4 inches horizontally. Then I will use my pattern master to rule a straight line from top to the bottom of my pattern paper. Then after that, I'm going outward by 1 inches because I'm going to attach zipper to the back of this dress, so that this 1 inches now is going to cater for that zipper and also my front sewing allowance, because I'm using this one paper to serve as my front and back pattern. That is how I'm going to tweak it, so stay tuned and watch carefully till the end. Then I'm going to insert the points on my body. From my shoulder point, I'm marking 9.5 as my nipple points, then 7 inches as the front slit, 13.5 as my under bust, 16 as my waist and waist point, 24 as my hip point, 32 as my jumpsuit length, and then 1 inches allowance. After that, I mark my neck depth as 3 inches by 3 inches. Then I use my pattern master to neatly, smoothen the curve. After that, I measured my shoulder point, shoulder to shoulder divided by 2. I have 7.5 inches. My shoulder to shoulder is 15 inches. Then, I came down by 1 inches to provide the slanty effect because our shoulders is not very straight. Then from there, I placed the tape again and marked 9.5. That's my nipple to nipple. My nipple points, my under bust, my waist points, my hip point, and then gown length plus 1 inches allowance. These points, I always repeat them so that I can easily and smoothly rule these horizontal lines that would serve as a clear guide for me to insert my body measurements. I always like that my line should be straight. That's why I always mark this point 2 times. So go ahead and rule these horizontal lines like this, and then we keep making progress. It's step by steps, my love, so just chill and don't panic. You're going to get it right. Then after that, place the tape on your nipple points and go up by 1.5 inches. I always do this to serve as my chest line. See, I'm labeling chest line, bust line, under bust, waistline, hip line, and gown length plus allowance. Basically, your chest line is supposed to be your bust circumference, round circumference of your bust divided by 6. But I always choose to, go up by 1.5 inches. Then from that chest line, I'm marking my shoulder to shoulder divided by 2, and I'm connecting it to that my shoulder points. I'll measure that whatever I have there, I'll divide it by 2, and then I'll go in by ½ inches. This is supposed to guide me to rule my armhole curve. Then I'm marking my round bust circumference, as 36 divided by 4. I had 9 inches, so I'm using these 3 points now to neatly curve my armhole. I always do this. This is how you go about drafting your basic bodice, for those who doesn't know. So just know that, okay, now you have a glimpse of how to do your basic bodice. Then I went ahead to divide my nipple to nipple points divided by 2. My nipple to nipple is 8 inches, so divided by 2 I have 4. So I'm marking that on each of these horizontal lines. Then I'll use my pattern master to rule a straight line from the beginning to the end. Then I will divide my shoulder slant by 2, or just mark 2.5 inches, and then connect it with this vertical lines that is going up. So once you do that correctly, you will have something that looks just like this. And then on my bust, on my under bust, I'm going in by 1.5 inches. This is my dart, and I'm repeating that also on my waistline. I will rule a line now horizontally to connect them together. Then you know that starts 1 inches above or below your nipple point, so I'm marking 1 inches now. Then I'll use that to neatly draw my bust curve, because your bust is not so, your body is not so straight. We're just basically putting the curves on your body. Then on that shoulder point and that shoulder slant, I went in by 1 inches, so that I will not just have a straight shoulder slant, you know, so that my bust will curve properly, like it fits on my body. Like you could see on that video how the bust sat very well on my body. Yes, that's the effect I actually wanted to have. Then on my hip line, I gradually reduce the darts progressively towards the end of my gown length. So I reduced it, I made it 1 inches on my waist and then half inches on my M line. So go ahead and do the same thing. After that, on my waistline, I extended the horizontal lines to meet the edge of my pattern paper. I'm trying to rule my crouch effect. I placed the tape on my waistline and marked 12 inches to serve as my crouch depth. There are standard measurements for these things. I will display them on the screen, and also repeating that points again, like I said earlier, to help me rule a neat horizontal line. From there, I'm going to neatly draw my crouch. I'm going up now by 1 inches, and then I'm neatly going to curve my crouch. Then from there, I rule the line to meet my M line from the crouch. See, I extended the line too much, so I had to, use my eraser to clean those ones out, because too much of lines can actually confuse somebody. So yeah, I had to erase that. I always try as much as I can not to have to work with too many lines. Alright, so I'm replacing that dart, the 1 inches that I took out from my shoulder slant. I'm replacing it now. That is why I extended the shoulder slanty effect from onset, because I knew I was going to have a dart and I would want to replace that so that I don't have shortage on my shoulder. It's always advisable to have excess than to have shortage, because how will you remedy a shortage? It's always better to have excess that you can cut out. And every excess that I had, I worked on it on the machine, and while I was sewing, I literally cut them out. Then now I have drawn my armhole again, my armhole curve again. So I'm going ahead now to use my pen to bolden the line so you could see it clearly. After that, I measured my back neck depth to be 1.5 inches, and I'm connecting it with my pattern master. After this, I'll go ahead and extend the line to meet with my zipper allowance. Just carefully watch through every step. And now I would be going in by half inches on my waist point. If you notice, you will see that I made mistake earlier. You're supposed to go in on your waistline, not your back neckline, you see. So I'm going to curve that in properly, and then mark where I'm going to be cutting out. So however you can, the drafting is not just about copying and pasting what you see people do. Understand how your body shape is and try to tweak what you're drafting to look like the shape of the body that you have. And then these places that I'm marking now, those are the places I'm going to cut out. I made mistake earlier. I'm supposed to go in, so that place that you've seen the red mark is where I made the mistake. But just be sure to follow through so you don't repeat the same mistake that I did. Now I'm going to insert my round circumference. I'm putting my bust divided by 4 now. I'm putting my waist divided by 4, and then I'm replacing that dart there, and then I added 1.5 stitching allowance. I discovered that my burst. I wasn't getting the shape I wanted, so I added an extra 1 inches just so that the shape can come out better. I did that extra 1 inches to cater for just in case after sewing up I feel, oh, I'm still having shortage from the 1 inches of my shoulder, or however, I just wasn't satisfied with the curve that I had, so I added 1 inches. And then on my hip line, I'm measuring my hip. My hip is 36, I made it 40. I added, divide by 4, that's 10. I added I replaced that and then added 1.5 inches stitching allowance. And now this curve is going to come out looking really nice. I was really impressed by what I have. The secret to this thing is to understand how you want the outcome of the dress to be, pertaining to your own body's size and shape. So, and then make your pattern to fit that body shape, that end result that you want to have. Then on my side, I went up by 0.75. I didn't just want to have a squared looking dress, so I needed it to just curve itself neatly, so that's why I had that curve there. And then I'm going ahead to bolden the parts that I'm going to be cutting out, just so that it could be more visible for my camera to capture, and also for you to see. If you have any challenge, be sure to leave it for me in the comment section below. And also, quick one, you know that if you're sewing a gown, or you would hold that at the back. Now that we've taken the darts in front out, I'm taking the darts out from the back now. Starting from my waistline, I measured 7 inches below. That dart is about 0.75 inches. I also took a bit of it from the shoulder, so I took from the waist and from the shoulder. The ones that is in blue, that's the back dart. Then I'm trying to guide myself, since this pattern is going to serve for both front and back for me. I'm making dashed lines, saying where the front is going to be. That buttocks effect will not be in the front, that's why I did those dashed lines there. Then from my waist, I came down by 1 inches, and then I measured 7 inches and marked it to serve as my pocket opening. I always take the pocket opening to be 7 inches and 1 inch below my waist. Then from my bust line, I marked 1 inches below to serve as my side dart. I honestly wanted the fitting of this cloth to come out really nicely, so I'm just cutting out every part of my bodice. I know that the shape would not really, like, I was just trying to add shape to the dress by taking out all of the dart, putting darts as much as I can. That is supposed to help bring out the shape of your body. That's the fundamental purpose of darting a dress. So carefully watch where I am cutting right now, so that you don't make mistake, please. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe. The sewing of this dress is going to be epic. I'm going ahead to cut the back now. All this side that I'm cutting is the back pattern. So I'm going to, after cutting this back pattern, I'll place it on my fabric and cut out. Then I will now tweak this pattern to now cut my front. I'm going to cut the front as the last piece. So this is my back now. I have my fabric now. I've placed the pattern on my fabric. I'm going ahead to pin it down. This fabric is on fold. If you have a body size like mine, you're going to probably use 3 yards to make this dress. But if you are on the bigger side, please, to be on a safer side, just get maybe 4 yards. I don't know. It's better to always have something to work with, other than trying to manage your life away. Just have an extra material. I always like to also have extra 1 inches, at least ½ inches allowance whenever I'm cutting out. my pattern, just so to be on the safe side, because you don't want to have shortage at all costs. You see those openings? Those are the darts we took out from the back. And this side back is actually bigger. It's bigger in size than the side front because of the darts, the excess darts from the front that is still there. But all the same, it's better to have excess than to have shortage. Go ahead and notch and mark chalk so that you don't make mistakes. Now it's time to cut the side front. I went ahead to pin it down. This one is not on fold because I'm going to do Ankara combo. I have the yellow fabric I'm going to be combining with. Yeah, so now I'm going to cut out the darts for the front. Look at what I'm doing right now. This is what the side front is supposed to look like. So I'm cutting out all of those darts. Good. This is the side front right now. You can see that the bust effect is out now. The bust effect should not be at the back. It should not show on the back, oh please. So I'm carefully carving it out neatly. Go ahead and do the same. Go ahead and like, share and subscribe. Now that this is ready, oh my goodness, that's the yellow fabric I told you about. I really love this fabric from the minute I set my eyes on it at the shop. I just couldn't walk past it. I had to stop by and get it. So this side now is going to cater for the other side front. You know, we have two side fronts. So this is the other side because the other one was not on fold. Oh, make I no come talk plenty. Just go ahead and carve it out. If you're using different fabric, if you're using just one fabric, then you know that it's supposed to be two. Good and fine, that is ready. Go ahead and mark chalk, and now it's time to cut the center front. I'm going to be cutting out some things like that buttocks effect is not supposed to be in front because definitely our buttocks is not in front. So I'm going to cut that out right now. Good. And also after carving this out, the neckline for the front, remember it was 3, so I cut that out too. And also there is a slit in front at about 7 inches deep. I will also go ahead and notch that after cutting this out. After cutting out, I noticed that the sewing allowance was so much because the front does not have a zipper, so I will also trim that out. The key thing is to know what you are working with, the final outcome you want to see. That would guide you know what to and what not to do. In fact, after sewing this dress, I noticed that I felt I needed a rope since I'm not very tall and shapy like that. So I felt I needed to add a little bit of curve towards my waist to just sharpen the look a bit. So I basically added that rope so that I can increase the shape on my own self. So I basically did that and it helped me. So if after sewing yours you feel you need a rope too, please go ahead and attach a rope. Now I'm cutting out the excess. You know, like I told you earlier, the front does not have a zipper, so why too much allowance? Go ahead and cut that out too if you have this, and notch where the depth of your slit should be. Don't forget to mark chalk, and we are done. We've drafted our front and back using just this one pattern. I'm so glad you made it this far, and I hope you're able to recreate this. Let me know where you have challenges and I'll sure to put you through it. The sewing of this dress is going to be epic. Stay tuned, like, share and subscribe to the channel, and you know, I'll see you in my next one.